Now, this series finale is one enjoyable piece of TV with one really big highlight. There was a moment in this episode I can't wait to talk about, and I really want to focus in on that because it's the heart and soul of this whole show, really. It might be the most memorable scene in this whole series because of its great meaning for both the post-blip Marvel world and our current place as human beings. So let's dive in. Hi fellow Disney Plus watchers, this is Thoughts After Disney Plus Watch, where we review everything new Disney Plus coming out, and I'm glad you're watching. This week was an action-packed episode full of hand-to-hand combat, so if you were waiting for that after a bit of a slow burn one that was episode 5, this is maybe your piece of pie. Now, I won't say it was as big in scale as I would have expected or maybe even hoped. I might have anticipated a big 70-minute action spectacle with two big threats terrorizing the city. That would be the Flag Smashers and of course John Walker. That wasn't entirely the case. John was actually an afterthought in this episode, and the action wasn't on a scale or level as, say, Captain America the Winter Soldier, just to name a movie from the same franchise with a similar tone, and the set pieces were still fitting enough to wrap up the stuff from the Flag Smashers to the Power Broker, but I cannot help but feel I'm slightly disappointed by some of the payoffs. More on that later. It's funny, by the way, just to think we got a bigger finale from WandaVision, which was a show that wasn't action-centered at all, and it was just placed in and around this one town. Those set pieces were absolutely grand in scope, that of the finale. And here we've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier that's playing on a bigger scale, hell, even a worldwide scale, and the action is more grounded and smaller in its set pieces. This is not even a critique, just a guy making an observation, but okay. Before I go on, I do have to say that from here on out there's gonna be lots of spoilers, so if you haven't seen everything of this show just yet, you can come back later if you like to watch this. I want to talk about the big one first because I want to pause for a moment and zoom in on the most effective scene in this show. The monologue near the end that actually really got to me and spoke to me. It might be the best acted scene if we look at Anthony Mackie's acting too. This scene was the finale to me. It wrapped up all the themes and all the stories around Isaiah, Carly, John, and Bucky. It did it perfectly and really managed to connect all the characters' journeys, so that was a great accomplishment on the writing part. I will go into more detail in a sec. But first, if you're interested in commentary on previous episodes, you can find them listed on the right in the description or on my channel page. I'm also doing a ranking of all these 6 episodes today, so I'll include that in the playlist. And before we move on, let you know I'm currently the only review channel on YouTube that is specifically Disney Plus. You'll have an idea on what to expect. Click that button and that bell if you want to follow along. Thank you so much. So I was just saying that this monologue of Sam is wrapping up the story of Bucky, the story of Carly, and the story of John Walker. In the case of Bucky, he now finally sees that Sam is just as worthy carrying the shield as Steve was for carrying that hammer. Sorry, shield. Worthy joke. Of course, this whole struggle of Bucky was that he wanted to honor Steve as much as he could and that he didn't trust someone trying to carry on that shield. He even was proven right by the actions of John Walker. Now, in this scene, he realizes you can't get more Captain America than this. This man is all about unity. This man is talking about all common struggles, joining forces, all the good stuff to pass on to the world. So this scene really felt like Buck's worries and insecurities were finally laid to rest. Then we see John Walker, who's at the scene, and I love the fact that we get to see a cut to John when Sam says the words, "Every time I pick this thing up, I know that people are going to hate me for it." And then it cuts to John. You can tell he feels that. I just love how relevant this line is for both Sam and John. And if we talk about editing, it was perfectly timed. And the story of the Flag Smashers does have its biggest payoff during this scene. I quote, "I mean, this girl died trying to stop you. And no one has stopped for 1 second to ask why. You've got to do better, Senator. You've got to step up, because if you don't, the next Carly will. And you don't want to see 2.0. People believed in her cause so much that they helped her defy the strongest governments in the world. Why do you think that is?" That last line. Why do you think that is? That line was so well delivered, I got goosebumps. Yeah, I just love that we don't get a speech that's just about hope and unity, but one where Sam confronts the senator with the fact that the world is not at peace and that he's in a position to do something about it. I love this cold, honest way of speaking truth. You control the banks. Shit, you can move borders. You can knock down a force with an email. But the question is, who is in the room with you when you make those decisions? I chuckled a bit when he talked about knocking down a forest with an email, and audibly approved when he pointed out that the people suffering under the restrictive politics aren't in the same room to decide. This is top-notch social commentary. The first half of the episode was also enjoyable, although slightly underwhelming. I think the inclusion of Batroc isn't all that earned or necessary. He felt a bit like a pawn Sam had to fight. He wasn't relevant enough to be here, I think. The episode was quite dark and busy, so I couldn't always see what was going on that well. Sam stopping that car star from falling down was very cool though, and is a very nice image to look at. Overall, the first half of the episode was just nice, average Marvel stuff in my opinion. Last thing I want to talk about is Sharon. This episode once again proved me right. She is, in my opinion, a rushed character who I don't care about, because she was barely in the series and the writers totally changed her up. Now, if we have gotten enough to understand why she was going down this path, I know she gets her pardon from the senator at the end of the episode, and that was the thing holding her back or something, but I don't know. I'm not convinced this character should be in this series if she's such a small part in it, although she's now revealed to be very important as she is the power broker, but why isn't this a new character instead of Sharon Carter? Overall, I enjoyed it. It didn't satisfy me on a level the WandaVision finale did, but I enjoyed it. The action was grounded and fun, still somewhat busy and dark. John Walker took a backseat in this finale. His story was already told in a way, and we'll see a lot more from him as US agent. I don't have strong feelings about that. I'm excited that this actor is going to be back in the MCU. It wasn't a home run finale. Sharon Carter still feels weird, and Batroc was unnecessary, I think. Still, the message Sam gives to the world is so relevant. I love the way that this was handled. So yeah, that's about it. I'm going to do a ranking. That should be in a couple of hours, so be sure to check that out. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you're satisfied with this finale. I'm curious. I'm so looking forward to Loki. That looks bonkers. And of course, I'm doing Big Shot, Mighty Ducks, Game Changers, Bad Batch, all that. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya.